What's poppin', fight fans? And we are back with another episode reaction video, the Mystic Hour Live, here on the MMA Island. No place I'd rather be. We had a great card this past weekend. Definitely got to talk about it. A lot of big things happened. Had to bring one of the specialists out here, the man, the fight dialogue. Aldrick Warner is in the house. Welcome, my brother Aldrick. What up, Aldrick?
What's up, my guy? Hey, everybody. How you doing from Mystic Hour to MMA Island? What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me back.
This guy's breakdowns, you got to check it out on YouTube. Fight Dialogue. They are amazing. They go detail for detail. ESPN, give them a show. You know, I know Daniel Cormier does a detail thing, but they got it going on over there as well. Appreciate you here for being here. Nick's can't be here this week, but he'll be back. It's all good. But we are here. We had such a good card on Saturday. My Lord, man. I know on Conor McGregor cards, they usually don't overstack it, but it worked out to perfection. How'd you enjoy the card this past Saturday, Aldrick?
It was a nice card. A lot of people were like skeptical about it when they first heard it. It was like, it doesn't look too much. And then had a lot of craziness, you know, people out here sneaking people in the hotels and all that stuff. But overall, the card was good. Sorry that the West Coast really couldn't watch the fights. I don't know if you saw that trending on Twitter, but a lot of people couldn't access it.
Yeah, they couldn't access it. That's I actually had some not on the West Coast. I'm in on the East, but when the Conor McGregor first came out, I couldn't even see him, and then it just like kind of just popped right back in. So I just saw him like getting closer to the cage, which is a little weird. But hey, that was their first, I guess, technical issue from Abu Dhabi, and that's probably harder because more people were watching this card, I'm sure, than any other card they've had in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, it happens, I guess. But yeah, it was a really good card. The main event, of course, I wish I could have opened the show with some James Brown, you know, paid the cost to be the boss. Little Dustin Poirier right there. He came in, had a lot of doubters. A lot of people said there's no chance he was going to win. Already got knocked out by Conor McGregor before. So a lot of people were doubting him. He was not the favorite going into this fight, even though he's probably lost maybe one time in the past couple years, and that was to Khabib Nurmagomedov. There's a lot of people. There's 29 other men that's lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov. So there's no craziness about that. But he went in there, fought a really good fight, a very smart fight against Conor McGregor. Is Mike Brown one of the best coaches game plan-wise? Like, what did you see there, Aldrick?
Well, having to meet Mike Brown in person, he is a very knowledgeable coach, very well at game planning. That was definitely smart, implementing the leg kicks, take him in Conor's mobility. If you see him passing his fights, a lot of people look forward to take Conor down because, you know, his takedown defense is not stellar because of his stance. But people don't realize to take away his power, attack the legs. Implementing that game plan and attacking the legs paid off. And you saw that even initiating the takedown right away, he took Conor's advantage away. And then look what happened. Dustin knocked him out. I'm not going to lie. When I saw Dustin knock him out, I leaped out of my bed. I was like, oh, shit.
Right. It was literally absurd. But one thing I want to go to, I want to kind of start in the beginning here. I rewatched the entrances because I had an issue watching them before. But even watching Conor come out, he didn't have that certain aura about him, that certain just like, I'm here to fight and just like I'm excited for this. It's like almost like, I don't want to say he lost the passion, but like something was just not the same as before. Because when that man comes out, everybody knows Conor McGregor is coming out. Even when he was in the cage, kind of pacing back and forth, which he's not super used to because usually he's the A side coming out or the other corner, the second corner. It's just, he just had this different aura about him. And I can just tell like something was a little bit off. Even when he went into the middle of the cage, did his whole, you know, his spiel like he always done, it just was not the same. Did you see anything different in Conor when he came out?
When you pointed that out, yes, I was looking at it because that was the same look in a way he had when he was going against Khabib. I don't know if it was jitters. I know some fighters still get jitters, but it didn't seem compared to last year when he came out going against Cowboy. Like you said, he had the aura, he had the swagger, he was composed. You really didn't see that much. I was like, is he taking like a different approach? Like I know like this is not Conor of old, but I did see like off, like all right, something a little off, but you know he probably worked through it. I mean, this is his first bout back at lightweight in like what, over a year or two, if not mistaken.
Yeah, in 2 years. Yeah, the last fight was against Khabib at 155, and that was for the title. But we were talking about coaches there. Mike Brown, John Kavanagh, of course, is Conor McGregor's coach. Does Connor maybe need to switch some things up, coach? Not maybe lose John Kavanaugh, but bring maybe some other eyes in. He did bring in his boxing coach from Crumlin gym in Ireland. Do you think that was a mistake on him, kind of going the boxing direction against a guy like Dustin Poirier, who is good everywhere and can do a lot of different things in that cage?
I would say yes, that was one mistake. I know we all see Dustin likes to throw the hands without a problem, but he wasn't expecting the leg kicks. So I guess that implements like, all right, cool. He thought it was gonna be a straight striking match, but he forgot about that. Bringing in your old boxing coach, I mean, it was like a different game changer. I know it isn't like Owen Grady. His usually his striking
Yeah,
coach. I'm
Owen Roddy.
mistaken. Yeah, so I mean, you can see something's different. Definitely keep Kavanaugh, but I think you should switch some things up. There's nothing wrong. You see a lot of fighters as they elevate. Some people stick with the same people. Some people adding some pieces. Like you even saw in Dustin, he usually has Mike Brown and Coach Adaye. And this camp, you saw he had Thiago Alves, who we know has the most devastating leg kicks. So there's nothing wrong bringing different people in for different
Yeah.
styles.
That's right. That was very smart on Dustin Poirier's and like noticing those small things. Exactly. Thiago Alves. If you remember Thiago Alves, he was a welterweight, finished a lot of guys with his just brutal leg kicks. He trains down here at American Top Team, and he's been one of the main guys in the past couple fights for Dustin Poirier. And you can see it's working out for him pretty well. So that was smart on his behalf. Something I did want to say before we continue here is there's a lot of people speaking about this is an embarrassing knockout for Conor McGregor. This is such an embarrassment to his career. This is going to bring his career down so much. When you're saying that, listen to me, people. Let me come closer here. When you are saying something like that, you are disrespecting Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is one of the best fighters in mixed martial arts history. Do not get that twisted. If you look at his resume and the people that he has fought, this man is one of the best to ever do it in mixed martial arts. I know he hasn't won the title completely, like the undisputed title. I know he was an interim champion, but this guy has beaten Eddie Alvarez twice. He's beaten Justin Gaethje. He's beaten Hooker. He's beaten so many people in his career, and we cannot forget that. So everybody saying that this is an embarrassing loss for Conor McGregor, I completely disagree with that. I think you should kind of look into things a little bit more. And there was a lot of people like sending me messages and calling me, and they didn't even watch the full fight. They just watched a highlight and they didn't even see what happened in the first round because the first round was very competitive. Some might even say Conor McGregor won that first round. It was a pretty good round for him until those leg kicks started to add up, and calf kick to be specific, because it was definitely hitting that calf, and that was, he couldn't move his leg. He literally could not move his leg, which was scary.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you because I've been seeing a lot of slander. Even some of the upper echelons people in like ESP and all that stuff. Y'all know who y'all are. As we were talking about earlier, and I didn't want to say this, but when I was watching Embedded All the Way Up, I'm like, this is giving me Amanda Nunes versus Ronda Rousey vibes.
Yep.
Because you remember how the whole entire time they were talking about Ronda. This one they was talking about Conor. I'm like, y'all sleep on Dustin Poirier. Like you just said, he beat Eddie Alvarez twice. You knocked out Justin Gaethje. You submitted Anthony Pettis. You beat Max Holloway when he was the active champion on the 13 fight win streak.
Yep.
And then you just beat Dan Hooker, and you just knocked out one of the most glamorous superstars in the sport of MMA. Like, I don't understand how this man gets the disrespect. Like, that entire resume alone. Like, if we could get Tony Ferguson and RDA that same credit, why can't we give Dustin Poirier that? All right. Like, we all know everybody loses to Khabib. All right. Ain't nobody beat him. He has 20. He has an O for a reason after that 29.
Yeah.
but it's like it felt like that was like, this feels like Rousey and a Nunes all over again. And then, of course, I had chose Conor to win this fight. I said he would win via knockout second round, but I wanted to see a longer fight and see how he has developed as far as cardio. When Dustin flipped the script and, like you said, played those leg kicks, man, he did the damn thing. I was like, wow. I wasn't even mad because you know why? I haven't been following Dustin Poirier's whole career, but I am a fan of his work, and that was a well-deserved knockout. And I think it's sad that he does not get the respect like many others, like a Khabib, like a Conor, and all that stuff. Like, it's utterly disrespectful. Like, look at the man's resume.
Yeah, he's going to be one of those guys that go down in history with doing amazing things, and he won't get that respect until he's retired. And then you look back and it's like, man, we have to talk about Dustin Poirier. We got to put him in there. I think a lot of people, because numbers is such a big thing to them, because Tony Ferguson won 12 fights in a row, because Max Holloway won 13 fights in a row. I'm not saying that's not impressive. That's very impressive. But at the same time, who are you beating? If you look at Tony Ferguson's earlier, from his beginning streaks, he wasn't beating the top of the top competition. Dustin Poirier is always fighting top ranked competition. You can see it by even people he's fought in his past, like a Carlos Diego Fiera, who's steaming through lightweight right now. Dustin Poirier knocked him out. You know, there's a lot of guys that he's beaten in his past, and he deserves more respect on his name. Please put more respect on Dustin Poirier's name. That's all I would add.
And one more thing I want to add. All those names that we named, right? All those guys were former champions.
Yeah.
He's beaten 4 former champions, including Conor.
Yeah, and now he's got Conor on that list as well. He's adding that to his resume. Come on, give the man a respect. I don't think they should. People keep talking about just giving him the title. No, that's weird. This is not WWE where you can just hand somebody a title. I get it. Should he be champion? I think so, but they should have put that belt on there when the fight happened. I don't know why it was a big deal, because Conor hasn't fought in a long time. It doesn't matter. That should have been a championship fight, and this would have been way better. And then he can go on from there, and he's just defending that title. So I can kind of see him as an uncrowned champ. But Aldrick, next fight, are we gonna? Is the trilogy gonna happen next? You think he fights Oliveira? You think what's the map now? Now that Conor McGregor is basically not in that top 4, but they might just give him that title shot, because you know how Dana White works. Conor's been bugging me whole entire time, and he wants that third fight. They are 1-1, so you know I think we'll put that together. You think that's going to happen, or Dana White's going to kind of move on from there?
So, as fan-wise and stylistically, I would love to see Poirier and Oliveira. But to your point, and we have seen it to the Diaz fight, when Conor lost, he immediately hit him up. I want that rematch. When he lost to Habib, he hit him up. I want that rematch. Of course, the Habib one was happening right away after the shit they pulled. Yeah. Due to this one, and Conor is a big draw, I feel like the trilogy fight may happen. It would suck, because we all can agree that Charles do Bronx Oliveira, who's on a 7-fight win streak to be exact, deserves that title shot. But I mean, Dustin's open to the rematch. He's open to facing new competition. But if Conor's in his ear buzzing, and plus the medical suspension just dropped, he's out for a little bit because his tibia is like really fucked up from those kicks, if I'm not mistaken. I think the trilogy fight might happen. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch, but I think that might happen.
Right? I think it's going to happen because the power that Conor has with the UFC, and he was already training like the day after, just ready to get back in there already. So, and Dustin said it in the post-fight press conference. He said, "Hey, you know what? I'd fight Conor again. That'd be a choice. I'd fight Oliveira because he's never fought for a title before, and I'd fight Nate Diaz because I owe him one." I love how it's important kind of set he's, you know what? It's my 3 guys. I'll pick who I'm going to fight. I don't care if it's any one of these 3 guys, but if it's somebody else out of there, I'm going to go back to selling hot sauce, because I'm not fighting nobody else that doesn't deserve to fight me. And I get that. And I appreciate him for saying that so much, because he's top. He's the king of that division now. Habib is not coming back. Let's get that clear. Habib is not coming back. Got to get that clear. I don't know why Dana White keeps hounding this guy. He's not coming back. He does not want to do that anymore. He has nothing left to prove. After the fight, he said, "Look, I'm levels above these guys," which I don't disagree with. He doesn't need to come back. He has nothing left to prove. I would love to see him against GSP, but anyways, we're talking about this right now. Habib is now in the past. We move forward, and I think we see the trilogy fight, International Fight Week in July.
I agree.
Perfect timing for it. Gives Conor more time. Just Poirier some time off. Poirier is making millions now, baby. He doesn't need to be fighting every single month, you know? He doesn't have to take that many fights. He can take 1 to 2 fights per year, and he's making bags of money. So congrats to him, paid in full, as he always says. Big win for Dustin Poirier. I don't know. Anything else you have to say about that fight?
Nah, man, it was a great fight, great performance by Dustin. I just need y'all, like we all agree, put some respect on his name, because he has earned that shit without a doubt.
Big time. Big time. But man, we had a crazy debut coming from the mean streets of Bellator. Iron Michael Chandler debuted in the UFC, which, can I mention something? And then this is wild to me. I was not expecting this. When Bruce Buffer said, former Bellator champion, two-time Bellator champion, did you not freak out like I did? Because I totally freaked out because I never thought the UFC would mention a former organization on their broadcast.
Yo, legit trending on Twitter and another chat I have with my friends. When we heard former Bellator, I was like, wait. Everybody was like, he just say Bellator in a UFC cage? Like, huh? Like, are we getting Bellator some credit here? Like,
weird. I was just like, whoa, was that a mistake? Did Bruce Buffer do that and not tell the UFC? That was unbelievable. I did not expect him to take that route, but that was cool to see. I think they can do that. I don't think Bellator is that much of a competition compared to the UFC, no matter what they do. They have really good fighters, not saying that, but viewership wise, UFC is on a different level than them. That's very clear. So that's cool. And it kind of gives the audience like more knowledge of like who this person is. Because if they didn't announce him as a former champion, it's like, who's this Michael Chandler? You can look it up on YouTube and stuff, but UFC wasn't saying what he was doing before in the prior in Bellator. They weren't saying that. So it would be kind of difficult for somebody to understand that. But now they hear two-time Bellator champion. It's like, what is that? Let me go look that up. So that's pretty cool that they did that. But anyways, he went in there and knocked out one of the best lightweights, a super tough guy, a guy even Dustin Poirier couldn't finish, and finishes him in the first round. Aldrich, was that the best debut by a Bellator fighter ever? Or like best debut by somebody coming from another organization?
I had to say, yeah, I really can't. I really can't think of any off the top of my head already, but yeah, it was just like, damn, way to make your presence known, because I chose Chandler in this fight, me and Tim both, but we expected the decision, like he's gonna wrestle him, grind him out. Man, when he lined that right, when he set it up with the bunches of the body, and then he stepped in and then cracked him that right, I think it was a straight or overhand, and he dropped, I was like, oh shit. Like, okay. You hear Michael Chandler. All right, you're right. One of my really good friends, I would talk to him about Michael Chandler debuting him in Bellator, and he's just like, this guy coming from that organization, he's not going to do anything. Come on now, there's no way. And we're sitting there, and he knocks him out that fast. I look at him, and I'm like, that's exactly who I was talking about, because I feel like when Michael Chandler is on, Michael Chandler is on. Puts it on anybody. I know he's had some weird losses in his past to Will Brooks, to Pitbull, which Pitbull is a very good fighter. He's a double champion over there. But when Michael Chandler has his stuff together, he can beat anybody in the world. He's a very good wrestler, good striker, as you can see, and went in there and just dogged Dan Hooker. And Dan Hooker is no slouch. This guy comes from City Kickboxing. If you don't know who City Kickboxing is, people that are watching, City Kickboxing is where Israel Adesanya trains. These guys are good. That's where Eugene Behrman teaches these guys some of the best striking, MMA, everything all together in one. That's no slouch of the person he just beat. Where does this take Michael Chandler? Does that put him immediately in that like talks for a title, like in those four guys? Because I would say Chandler, Oliveira, Gaethje, and Poirier. You put him in there already, or he has to fight beat one more person, and then we can talk about him in the title. Great debut first and foremost, but I feel like he needs to fight someone else. I think we all can agree. Even Dustin said so. Definitely, it landed him in the top 5. He's ranked number 4 now. So I mean, I feel like he needs to fight another person. Everybody's been saying he needs to fight maybe a Justin Gaethje. I'd like to see him and Gaethje throw down. Because a lot of guys put in that work. Dustin, you still got Oliveira, like we said. Justin is still there. People wrote him off. I don't get it. When people lose to Habib, they're quick to write people off. Like, Justin is still there. Like, the dude is still dangerous as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to see him and Gaethje throw down. Yeah, definitely like to see that.
I would love to see him and Gaethje. I didn't know they dropped the new rankings today. The UFC did.
And Michael Chandler's ranked number 4. Yep, wow. And Connor's not in the top 5. Connor's ranked number 6.
Number 6, as he should be. That makes a lot of sense. Inactivity, came in, didn't do too well against somebody highly ranked. That makes a lot of sense. So I agree with that. But Michael Chandler is now in the top 4, so this puts him in there. And there's so many matchups we always dreamed of for him to be in the UFC, and now we finally get to see it. That makes me extremely excited. But now, what happens to Dan Hooker? Dan Hooker is on a 2-fight losing streak now. Not to say he's lost to guys that some chumps, 2 really good guys. Michael Chandler, a former champion, Dustin Poirier, the #1 guy in the division right now. Where does Dan Hooker go from here? And let me ask you this. How is this going to affect him mentally? Because now he has to quarantine for a month after losing in a first round like that. You think Hooker stays away from social media, stays away from all that jazz, and kind of gets his mind together, or he's going to come back stronger?
I feel he's going to take some time off. First of all, a month. I thought it was a 14-day quarantine. Damn, they extended it to a month now?
He's got to do 4. He's got to do 2 there, and then he comes. Then when he gets to back to Auckland, he's got to do 2 weeks there. So it's a month.
Wow.
He's not going to be able to go back until about the beginning of March.
That sucks, man. The sacrifices these fighters make and being away from your daughter, man. When I saw that picture when he did it the first time, I almost shed a damn tear. Like, that sucks.
He was behind. He was like behind a fence, and she was over there, and he couldn't even, hug his daughter. That's rough to see. But that's going to be rough on him mentally. But yeah, how do you think he comes back?
I think he comes back stronger for sure, man. One thing about I've seen a lot of fighters, some of these moments make them and some of them break them. Definitely Hooker definitely will come back strong from this. He has a great team, great support and cast. So I know they're going to help build him back up. He's going to come back 10 times stronger, even more from this. You just have to reset, refocus, and just remember why you do this for sure. He still has a lot left, and he's young man, just turned 30, so he's still got a lot left in the tank. I would like to see him in a comeback fight. They're talking about him and Connor. I was like, nah, that's a bad matchup for him. Give him like a RDA and maybe Ferguson, something like that. Shit. I mean,
those are 2 really matchups for him, RDA or Ferguson. I would love to see those matchups. So I don't think he falls off too bad either. He didn't lose to some slums, so he gets back in there, takes some time off. He needs a time off. A lot of damage he took last year. He took a pretty bad damage against Michael Chandler. Get that brain healed. Do your thing. We'll see Dan Hooker in the fall. Maybe they have a card over there because New Zealand is pretty much open. They can have people. So I think that'd be pretty awesome. So hopefully we see him later on down the year. Dan Hooker, you're a great man. Very, very, very good heart. Always smiling. Every interview you saw, he was just such a good guy. I always want to see him succeed. So good luck to Dan Hooker and just the recovery of everything. We had another fight in the women's. I always want to call it the strawweight division, the flyweight division. Jessica Eye took on Joanne Calderwood in a little bit of a not weird fight, but just like it was supposed to be some kind of like they had all this beef, but they didn't really have any beef at the end of the day. It didn't seem that way, at least. Joanne Calderwood just dominated her in the clinch. Even if she got close, she was throwing those tie kicks. Does Joanne Calderwood get a title shot after this, or does she have to be one more person at least to get to Valentina Shevchenko?
So the fact that she beat a former title contender, I feel like maybe she might be the next in line. I mean, I've been hearing like they might give Jessica Andrade a title shot against Valentina. Either or, I wouldn't be looking forward to fighting Valentina Shevchenko, just being realistic. I feel like she might get the title, but if not, I feel like she has to fight one more fight. She may have to run it back with a Jennifer Maia. She may have to fight Caitlin Chookagian again. She might have to run it with Andrade. Andrade's scary as hell too. So I mean, she put on a great performance, like you said. She definitely did work in that clinch. I mean, Jessica Eye, of course, you got the wrestling advantage, but you did not look good in that clinch. I was shaking my head like, why would you do this? This is her bread and butter. She's going to knee you, and every time you break, she's going to throw a strike, which she did every time.
Yeah, which I was a little confused about. Jessica, a good friend of the show, always good heart when she's in there, but I was confused for the game plan because Joanne Calderwood is somebody who has struggles in the grappling department. You think you would go that more, or maybe try to have that defense of somebody who likes to have you in the clinch a lot. It's like she was pulling forward the whole entire time and just falling into the trap. It was very confusing. Not too sure what happened there game plan wise. I'd personally like to see Jessica go back to her old coach when she was in Cleveland, Ohio. I get being in Vegas is better. They have the UFC PI. You save a lot of money living in Las Vegas. But when she was training over there in Cleveland, Ohio with Stipe Miocic, she just looked way better in my opinion. So I'd love to see her go back there and train with those guys and just have a kind of different outlook because in her past couple fights have been up and down. So I'm not sure what's going on over there. But in fact, with Calderwood, definitely, just like you just said, she's got to have another fight. She's got to fight somebody in that top 4, top 3. Jennifer Maia rematch would be good. Not sure how she'd fare in that one. She said she was having some mental issues before the fight, like she just wasn't there. But I'd watch that rematch. I don't want to see her against Andrade. Andrade already beat her really bad when they fought at strawweight. I mean, yeah, at strawweight. That was oof. I don't think I'd want to see that again. But definitely put together a couple of wins, not even just one, a couple of wins, and then maybe it'll elevate her to maybe getting another title shot. But good performance on Joanne Calderwood's behalf. John Wood over there, those guys at in Las Vegas. Syndicate MMA? That's Syndicate MMA, right? Yeah,
yes,
they did a really good job. They got a lot of good people over there, and their fighters are looking great. So good on Calderwood. We'll see what she gets next. But this one, I was very, very impressed with. Juliana Pena, man. I've been like talking about this girl for a very long time, and she just couldn't put together certain performances. She would just have a bad performance, be winning a fight the whole entire time. Like she just fought Jermaine Durandamy. She was winning that fight. She was doing really well. It was 1-1, but it was a very competitive fight, and she ended up losing to Jermaine Durandamy by guillotine. Like, who would have ever thought Jermaine Durandamy is going to submit somebody? This is not a girl who likes to fight on the ground. She loves to stand, but unfortunately, Juliana lost that fight. Juliana called for a title shot after defeating Sarah McMahon, who was dominating her for the first 2 rounds pretty much with the wrestling. Not to say she was doing too much with the wrestling. She had her just on the ground, but Pena came in that 3rd round. She knew she had the win, went for that rear naked choke. Aldrich, do you want to see Pena against Nunes as a new kind of a challenge?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Even Amanda herself said that she's she's looking for someone new. I mean, the woman wiped out that whole division, like literally. I mean, I want new blood too. I beat Durandamy twice. I knocked out Holly Holm. Who else was in that top 5? I lost my memory track, but she must be impressive.
Yeah, a couple people.
Yeah, I know Aspen Ladd's up there, but she hasn't fought because she had an injury.
Caitlin Vieira, I think, is still up there too.
Caitlin Vieira, Aldana. I mean, I definitely like to see that. That'll be a nice matchup. Like you said, Pena was losing that fight first 2 rounds, and then she got to it 3rd round and then pulled off that beautiful submission. I was like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. Especially for someone who does jiu-jitsu. Shit was big. It was amazing. But after that performance, I can see that propel her to being a contender for this title shot. I feel like maybe she may need one more matchup. Maybe Amanda may entertain the idea. Like, you know what? We were supposed to fight years back. So you called me out and so I'm scared of you. So guess what? And we all know Amanda get pissed off. She gonna want you.
Yeah. And she responded. She responded immediately on Twitter. So I feel like that's going to give her some kind of juices to come back because I'm thinking, damn, Amanda beats Megan Anderson. I don't want to see her against nobody else. And then here comes Juliana Pena. I'm still here. I am still here. I don't know what they'll do in a sense of like Jermaine Durandamy because she's still ranked number 1 in the division. Still got Holly Holm. I say maybe give Juliana Pena Holly Holm in the interim because Holly Holm's still looking for a fight. Nobody wants to fight her. Juliana Pena, Holly Holm, maybe a main event fight night card. Would love to see it. She beats Holly Holm. Give her that title against Nunes. You got a little backstory there. It'd be a different kind of a challenge. I would love to watch it. I would love to see it. And I love that call out after. She was ready for it, ready to get up there, and now your name is being put in that bag. Very smart on behalf of Juliana Pena. I love to see that she did that.
Yeah.
And now we have to talk about something that was very hard for both of us to watch. Amanda Ribas and Marina Rodriguez. Amanda Ribas, dominant first round, took Rodriguez down. She was on top. Then she came out in the 2nd round, and Marina Rodriguez just found her hands and found Amanda Ribas' head. Ribas goes down. She's getting struck, and Rodriguez thinks she's out, which she did look out. Rodriguez goes, and she celebrates. Herb Dean says, hey, I didn't stop the fight. It's not over. Ribas gets up. She looks confused herself and just like, what? And then Rodriguez is coming at her, and she's like, oh, I gotta hope still fighting. Whoa, this is crazy. And then Rodriguez ends up knocking her out after that, which is pretty bad. Aldrich, was that a late stoppage on behalf of Herb Dean? Is this going to add to the mistakes of Herb?
It was one of those late and weird stoppages because I think we all can agree as a unit, for those who's able to watch, not the one who had streaming issues. By the looks of it, when she rocked her and then she went pretty much stiff as a board, she went face down. She lost her foot and then went face down. I was like, okay. And the way Herb was stepping in, I'm like, he stopped the fight. But I'm looking like, oh shit, he didn't stop the fight. It looks like he was about to, but you see, it was like, yo, why you ain't stop the fight? Da da da. And they wrapped it and they replayed it back. You saw like he came over and looked, and it was like he was thinking about it, but he didn't. But look at his stance, like he stopped, but he didn't. And once he saw that he was just still like she was unconscious on her feet, he stepped in. I was like, Herb, what is you doing, baby? And then I was like, well, I was like, it was confusing. It was a weird stoppage. It was like how his stance was like, did you stop? Because usually when the ref does the whole step in, like, all right, cool, but he didn't do the wave, the hands, he didn't do like the tapping. So it was a weird stoppage. I won't call it was one of those weird transactions, like somebody was here and then he wasn't here. It was like, yeah, it was a whole bunch of confusion.
a lot of confusion. I see Nick over there commenting, Herb going Herb. Yeah, Herb is gonna Herb. I mean, he doesn't always have these issues, but he's had them past couple of years. It's a little hard. He always wants to give somebody a chance, but like she was out. If we're being honest, she was out. She was confused. Amanda Hebus is very young. We don't want to see her take that much damage at that young age. I know she's very tough, but she does not need to take that much damage. Thank God after the fight, she still was in good spirits. She was laughing. I believe she was having a mimosa on Instagram, just like, guys, it happens. You lose. Thank God. That girl is so powerful. She's a very bright soul. Going to do great things in that division for sure in the future. But Marina Rodriguez, man, her losses aren't like terrible losses. She had a draw with Cynthia Calvillo. She had a very close fight with Carla Esparza. Does this boost her up a lot in that division now? And now she has to be taken seriously?
Oh, it must definitely boosts her up in this division. This is a tough division. Strawweight division, you could compare it to the men's 155. It's the toughest of the tough. And those top five, like you talking about Doug Rose, Joanna, Jacek, what's the other Chinese woman name? I can't forget it. You know who you are. You a badass too. Not Zhang Wei Li, the other one.
Other girl, Yan something. I know exactly what you're talking about, but she's bad.
Yeah,
she beat Claudia Gadelha. She just beat Claudia Gadelha.
Yeah, who was in that top five? Got a lot of good women in that top five in that strawweight division.
Yep. Michelle Watterson, Karate Hottie's up there.
Can't forget her.
Can't forget her. So a lot of people up there, but she's got a lot of great matchups. I think they should put her against Michelle Watterson because Michelle Watterson was supposed to fight Amanda Hebus. And now Amanda Hebus lost. I say Marina Rodriguez, Michelle Watterson, sometime not too far off because Marina Rodriguez came out of that fight pretty good. But I do think she has problems making that weight. She's a big girl. She's very tall. And seeing her on that tail, she looked a little like, oof, that was a weight cut. She's got to be careful with that. But I think that would be a good next fight. And then Marina Rodriguez wins that. She's going to be in that top five pretty easy.
100%. I totally agree.
That's going to be really, really good. But we had some news break today. We had some news break today. I have to bring it up. I know that maybe we want to talk about it, but I got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Bring it up. It's relevant. It's a thing. It has to do with MMA because it involves a former MMA star. Jake Paul had been looking for somebody to fight for a while after he knocked out Nate Robinson in that Triller boxing that featured Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. And they kept talking about Dylan Dennis. He called that Conor McGregor, but ultimately a funky man stepped up in Ben Askren, and Ben Askren against Jake Paul is official now for in April, I believe, April 27th or 29th. I forget the exact date. It is now official. A lot of people are just saying, "Wow, Jake Paul took the worst striker in MMA to take on." What chances do you give either one of these guys? I'm not going to just say one person over the other. What chance does each one of these guys have? Because I got a different perspective on this. I got a way different perspective on it.
The fact that I got to answer this question is sad. Listen, I'm not a fan of Jake Paul. I think he's annoying as hell, but he can't box. He could knock people out. Ben Askren, we know the man's not the best stand-up striker. If this is an MMA match, oh yeah, Brendan Butter, he's whooping his ass on the ground. I hope he gets his hands right. He's an experienced fighter, so we'll see. And Ben, we trust. I don't know if you saw the thing that's trending right now. They're saying Benjamin Askren. They said Benjamin Askren. If you knock out Jake Paul, we would take away your loss to Jorge Masvidal and praise you for eternity.
Oh God. Well, I look at this fight a little differently than everybody else does. Jake Paul a legit boxer? He's really good. He trains with a pretty good team. He's got pretty good. I wouldn't say great combos, but like he knows what he's doing in there. But Ben Askren is, and I put this video on my Instagram if you guys want to watch. Ben Askren has been in there with the likes of Douglas Lima, like a couple guys in from Russia when he fought from ONE FC, Jorge, Robbie, a lot of these strikers, and he's only been knocked out one time. One time he's only been knocked out. I mean, if you want to count the Robbie Lawler thing, you can, but like completely knocked out one time. I don't see Jake Paul with 10-ounce gloves knocking out Ben Askren. There's no way, unless Ben Askren somehow gets extremely exhausted, but I don't think he will. MMA is more exhausting than boxing, in my opinion, because you're using more things, limbs, legs, takedowns, submissions. There's so much more happening. I don't see Ben Askren getting tired. And Ben Askren for sure has had some kind of striking experience, even though it doesn't look like it. He didn't need to strike when he was in MMA. Remember, Ben Askren went 19-0 for a very long period of time. This guy was known as one of the best guys out there. I still think if he wanted to come back to MMA, he could still do it too. He was having really bad hip problems. But striking-wise, he's got muscle memory. He definitely is going to know what to do when Jake Paul is throwing crazy flurries at him. Just hold him. You know how, especially, remember, he's a grappler. He can hold him and know what way he can hold him in a boxing ring. He has so many different tricks that he can pull in that kind of a fight. So all this, Jake Paul is going to knock out Ben Askren. I need it to stop. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm an MMA guy, and I'm going to stick with Team MMA on this one. And I also want to see, and I'm not one to say that, to say I want to see this person get knocked out, but I hope Ben Askren knocks out this Jake Paul. I don't want to hear about him ever again. I don't want to hear him disrespect people's wives and all this stuff. The guy's 23 years old. He shouldn't be in these talks. Big ups to him for saying these things because it's giving boxing more eyes, but I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of hearing it. Get out of here.
Serge,
no way.
Serge is saying otherwise.
We got Serge in here talking. Don't worry, Serge. We're gonna talk about it. But Serge has Jake Paul in this fight somehow. We'll talk about that another day. But there's no way that's happening. If guys in MMA can't even knock out Ben Askren, what makes you think Jake Paul is gonna knock him out? And I give Jake Paul his credit, but no, he's not knocking out Ben Askren. He's been in there with too many beasts and monsters. It's not happening. No. Get out of here. Stop it. I'm gonna put this on my Instagram. Y'all need to stop it. No more of this Jake Paul talk. I want you to go back to this clip after April 27th or 29th, whenever that fight is. Come back here. And if Jake Paul knocks out Ben Askren, I don't even know. I'll do something. I'm gonna think about something. But if he can knock out Ben Askren, I will do something. I'll put it out there. So we'll see what happens. I feel that confident about that. That's not going to happen. There's no way. Can he maybe beat him in a decision? Maybe, possibly, but he's not knocking him out. There's no way. There's no way. They even asked him today on Eric Hawani's show about a 7th round, and he was just like, he's like stopped and like was looking into the air. You can't, because he probably can't make it 7 rounds in a boxing fight. No way. There's no way. Ben got KO'd by a knee that would knock out anybody. That knee hits anybody, they're getting knocked out. Like it was some kind of a fluke. No, that was a hard, very accurate knee. Who thought that would happen? Who thought that was going to happen? You think Jake Paul's going to run straight forward to Ben Askren and just knock him out? I don't want to hear it anymore. Done. I'm done. Anybody wants to talk about it, argue on it? I'll bring you on the show. We'll talk about it. I'm starting to sound like Stephen A. Smith. Let me stop. But anyways, Aldrich, do you have a prediction for that fight? I know it's early, but if you want to drop one.
No, I ain't got one right now. I'm still trying to process the fact this fight's real.
It's really happening, right? Well, apparently Jorge Masvidal is going to be helping out Jake Paul for his fight tomorrow. They're going to be training together, so that's going to be interesting. But I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. I'm over all this crap. But anyways, we're done talking about that. No more of that conversation. My bad. I didn't mean to kick you out there. But guys, of course, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. You see it down there below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Aldrick, where can the people find you at, my brother?
Well, you guys can find me at Fight Dialogue. That is our channel, our page, available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also our YouTube channel. So you guys check us out. As far as my personal, it's Aliao BJJ. That's my personal one. But thank you for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure coming on here. Definitely good having fun conversations with you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we love having you on, and we love the breakdowns on your page. We appreciate you for coming. Of course, great card this past weekend. We got another one coming up next weekend, also Overeem and Alexander Volkov. That's going to be a really good one. Of course, we'll be back on next week to talk about these things. Unless something breaks, maybe we'll come back on, but whatever. Hey, guys, appreciate you guys for watching. Be back next week. Thank you guys so much. We are out. Boom!